These are the biggest reasons you're losing games in Madden. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the most common ways people are losing games in Madden, myself included. And by the end of the video, you're going to have some tools that are going to help you win more games, have a lot more fun, and play significantly more stress-free Madden. Alrighty guys, so the first main reason that you are losing games in Madden has a lot to do with your defensive ability setup. And I'll give you a hint. A lot of it has to do with stopping the run right now. There are cards like the Daniel Falele or Fa'alele that gets just insane running abilities. You have O linemen all with vanguards. I'm going to show you a defensive ability stack that's going to help you stop the run. And first and foremost, I'm going to be running it out of the dime 1-4. Pretty common defense, pretty meta if you want to put it that way, because it is. But we're going to start by breaking down the outside shell. So we got 2 safeties and 2 corners. A lot of people like to put safeties at these corner spots and use avalanche. I just don't coin wise. I'm just saying that's an option because maybe you want to do that. A lot of it is up to you, but right here we'll go ahead and go through. Okay, so the first cornerback I'm going to be breaking down is an outside cornerback. This is an ability setup for the outside cornerback. I'm using this Night Train Lane. Just if you can get any of these abilities, I'm just kind of ranking what I think are great abilities here. A lot of these have to do with run stopping. So in this first slot, I have Stonewall. If my cornerback touches a running back, I don't want him falling forward as much. And Stonewall, I'm actually paying 1 AP for it. It does a great job of stopping runners short, keeping extra yards, keeping reach forwards, keeping that at bay. I've actually won a couple games getting Stonewalls at the goal line. So it's actually a great ability. It's pretty slept on. Obviously, we got Pick Artist right here. Lurker, I'm not really sure how much that helps. I just kind of had a free slot, so I have that there. Obviously, Tackle Supreme. I'm not looking to hit stick with my outside corners. I just want to wrap up. I do not want to give up extra yards. I don't want to give up extra yards to these DBs. And then right here, we have Bottleneck in case I end up playing any man coverage. Just kind of a luxury ability. And then obviously, we have this Universal Coverage over here. And then we have this Enforcer Supreme, which I don't know how much it's helped. It's supposed to demoralize the ball carrier and get their stamina down super low after you get a hit stick on them. Not super necessary. I'd say the most important abilities on the outside corners are Stonewall and Tackle Supreme and Universal Coverage. Like that's pretty much all you need. Obviously, I guess Pick Artist kind of helps, but everyone gets Pick Artist. I just don't want to give up broken tackles. So the next DB I have on the other side of Night Train Lane is Cooper Jean. Pretty much same exact abilities here. I believe I had an extra slot, so I was able to get an out my way on him. Again, the major theme here is just we're trying to stop the run. We're trying so very hard to stop the run. Out my way. Impact block wins versus DBs and tight ends, I think. Just trying to stop the run. Very good run stopping ability. Okay, so my first safety right here is Ed Too Tall Jones. A lot of people love the avalanche ability. I actually don't use avalanche on my safeties, and I'll kind of explain my philosophy a little bit. So I'm going through the outer shell right now. Those 2 corners, 2 safeties. I don't have avalanche because these guys aren't really hitting the ball carrier that much, and if so, like it's usually just a wrap-up tackle. So I've invested heavily in coverage here. But the one thing I do want to point out is safeties get this run stopper ability. And I just want to point out, I got this from Zan Madden. He's actually heavily influenced my idea about abilities and what I'm trying to do and just stopping the run. He puts out a lot of really good stuff. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about him. I just wanted to mention because I got a lot of these ability ideas from him. He does great work. But the first and most important thing is this run stopper ability. It operates as like inside stuff, all like the run stopping abilities all in one, and putting those in the safeties is super important for me. Like again, I'm trying really hard to stop the run. I got the Tackle Supreme. Obviously, I don't want broken tackles. A lot of people will go avalanche here. I mean, maybe all these running backs have like Truz and Tank, so I'm not super hung up on that. Obviously, Universal Coverage, cool, Enforcer Supreme, and then Pick Artist, and then Lurker. That's kind of the average setup. Again, big theme here, stopping the run. And then the second corner I have here is Jimmy Ward. Pretty much same exact ability setup right here. This is just a Niner card. This is a card I like because he's a Niner. You could get taller safeties. I do actually like taller safeties. I think they do a good job of getting up there and picking balls off, but he's a good card. Same exact ability stack, really. I do like these theme team surge cards. All right, so going back to our dime 1-4 defense, we just covered this whole outer shell, and I talked about how I didn't really have avalanches on them. I had run stuffers in the safeties and universal coverage on all 4. Now we're going to be moving into this little interior. So we have a slot corner here, 2 linebackers. Oh, geez, horrible drawing. Slot corner, 2 linebackers, and another slot corner. Here, I told you guys that sometimes people replace these outside corners with safeties. I'm actually going to replace these slot corners with safeties because I'm actually going to use Avalanche inside. Okay, so the first card we're breaking down is this linebacker, Oren Burks, 6'3", just a great theme team surge linebacker. I got him because he's a Niner, but a lot of the theme team surge linebackers get these sets. I'm going to go ahead and move over to his abilities. And like I said, with all the other guys, Stonewall, super important, stopping the run, not giving up extra yards, super important. Lurker, mid-zone KO. The reason we're using mid-zone KO, these guys actually, I believe they get universal coverage. I could be, I'm like pretty sure. But it's because I'm using the run stopper ability on these linebackers. Again, emphasis on stopping the run. And I actually have Avalanche on this Oren Burks. If you notice with Dre Greenlaw, I'm actually not sure if I'm using Avalanche on him. But the reasoning for me not putting it on my other linebacker is because that is normally a looper in this defense, so he's not really in coverage, probably not going to make a bunch of hits. But run stuffer here, Avalanche, these dudes, this inside little sector I'm breaking down right now, these guys are always making plays on the ball. They're always making plays on runners. The reason I'm using Avalanche, they're just close to the ball. They're going to get a lot of hits. Enforcer Supreme, Tackle Supreme, heavy emphasis on tackling the ball carrier. Okay, so this is my Dre Greenlaw setup, and yes, I did not use Avalanche on him. I used Dual Threat, which actually is a mix of Unstoppable Force. It's not quite universal coverage because it doesn't get the break on ball boost, but it does get knockouts. The reason I'm using mid-zone actually is because mid-zone provides a break on ball boost, so these two are actually interconnected. Again, Stonewall. Again, we got Lurk Artist, another Tackle Supreme, another Enforcer Supreme, and then Run Stuffer. Heavy emphasis on stopping the run. So moving to our two slot corners, I have this Justin Reed card right here. And like I said, it's very cool that you can kind of sub these guys in at slot corner because we can get an avalanche on him. So he's going to be able to hit the ball carrier. If they don't have trust, they don't have tank, we're going to have to force fumbles. I got a mid zone on him to break on balls. He's usually in like flat zones, so I don't really need universal coverage in this situation. Run stuffer, again, heavy emphasis, stopping the run. We got Stonewall over here. Big theme. I want Stonewalls all over the field. Just tackles, don't give up extra yards. Extra yards is what's going to lose you games. Running backs falling forward is what's going to lose you games. We got Flat Zone KO, Pick Artist, Enforcer Supreme. That is pretty much the setup. And then moving on, I'm also using Jesse Bates in the slot with the same exact setup. Moving on to the last quadrant of this defense, it's these D-line. We got 1 D tackle and 2 D ends. And the D tackle I'm going to be using is this Milton Williams. He's got 96 speed. He's just overall really good. And all these Team Surge card like DTs get all the same abilities. I just like this. I liked his speed. I liked his attributes. Basically, setup here, obviously Stonewall, we want to stop the run. Reach Elite is a unique ability that allows you to tackle people while you're stuck up in a block. I wouldn't say it's like some great ability. It was just there, and I think it's a little helpful. It's good. It's good stopping the run. I got Run Stuffer, obviously over here, Tackle Supreme. I got this Under Pressure here. I actually don't know if this is overlapping with Colossus. It might actually. I might be wasting a slot, but I do have that there. And then El Toro. So this Under Pressure is super optional. You may not need to use it. But I'm only using this Colossus on the D tackle on the inside. The main thing with Colossus is that it splits double teams. At this point of the year, I'm going to show you something that I do on my O-line with the abilities, but at this point of the year, most O-linemen have post up, and that does a really good job shutting down the Colossus. So Colossus, I believe, is like 1 AP, so if you want to spend a little less, you can just go for the Unstoppable Force or a Dual Threat if you get it. Next DN we're breaking down is this Hassan Reddick. He's very fast, 96 speed, I believe, one of the best Team Surge DNs. Same kind of stack, Stonewall, Reach Elite, Secure. We get Pick Artist on him, so in case we get any tipped passes the line, he can catch those. Run Stuffer and then Dual Threat. I really don't put these guys into coverage, but this is just nice to have because it's like Unstoppable Force plus a KO ability. So I have that, and then I have, again, this Under Pressure. I'm not sure if it stacks, or I'm not sure if it's necessary. I had an open slot, so I went ahead and used it. And then my other D end is the right outside linebacker, Brian Burns, another really fast card, and pretty much the same stack, although I do have Lurker on him here instead of Pick Artist. Same thing, Run Stuffer, Stonewall, Dual Threat, Forcer Supreme, Tackle Supreme. We are selling out to stop the run. Okay, so going into some live gameplay right here, one thing you do have to notice is, so all these, the way these people usually run, the heavy runners, the way they kind of do it, is this Ted Hendricks right here has a Vanguard. All these linemen pretty much have Vanguard. So the Run Stopper ability versus Vanguard is going to stalemate. It's just going to be regular run blocking. Versus non-Vanguard linemen, your Run Stoppers are going to shed pretty well. If we look right here, I'll go ahead and play it. Check out my check out my linebacker Burks right here. So my linebacker Burks has run stopper. His Ted Hendricks has Vanguard. And normally, if I didn't have run stopper, I would get pancake to the moon right here. Right here, I'm able to stalemate, able to force a gain of 4, able to prevent a pretty big run. And then check out some of my DBs, my linebackers. You'll see some sheds right here. We're able to stuff this run right here. And then where's this one right here? Yeah, Jimmy Ward sheds a lineman to get a tackle. Run stopper is pretty important. Moving on to the next real reason you lose games, particularly on defense, is overcomplicating your pass defense. There's a million different adjustments you can make on defense, but one thing I just want to give you that I think can be really helpful is really just to come out in like a cover 4, whatever cover 4 you like. I like to come out with these walk down safeties. I actually heard that in college football 26, you're going to be able to set your safeties depth. So you're not going to have to do this where you come out in double safety go and then audible to cover 4, which is cool. I just like having the safeties down. If we look, this is what it looks like right here, just audible and over in cover 4 just to take away the seams. And then I like running this cross 3 fire and then putting two inside quarters here, basically recreating cover 4. Now, what I'm doing here is I actually have some, I wasn't doing this earlier in the year, but I really like it now, especially with the house rules and the longer depths that the first downs are. I like playing a lot more cloud flats than hard flats, especially early in the downs. Early in the downs, people are trying to go deep. Cloud flats do a good job playing like 15 yards back. And then what I'm doing with my user right here as I wait for this guy to loop is I'm just trying to cover this whole middle of the field. I'm keeping my eyes to the middle of the field. I'm seeing like which of these receivers is going to break to the middle. And that's kind of where my eyes are going. So if we go ahead and play the clips, I'm pretty much just roving the middle of the field, keeping my eyes in the middle of the field, trying to read what routes are coming middle and just keeping my body there to make plays. Right here, we get to a late down. We're able to catch a pick right there. Here, kind of rove in the middle. He doesn't have anything. We're able to get a sack. And then right here, same kind of thing, like just taking away the middle, switch sticking. I need to do a better job of switch sticking. I'm not the greatest switch sticker, but right here, Cloud Flats do a great job. He has a super long curl route. Cloud Flat gets back to pick that. Right here, this is an example of when I would switch to hard flats. So it's 3rd and 2. This is where I would go hard flats. We get a good stop there on 4th and 2. I'm just telling you right now, this is nasty. That was tough, but again, it's a lot of bend, don't break right here. We're still able to force a turnover. Playing a simple defense where you're not going to get beat over the top easy and making your opponent work is one of the simplest way to win more games. All right, moving over to the offensive reasons that you lose games. The first big one, this one hits home for me because I've run a lot of spread this year, and it's picking a good blocking formation. Now, what is a good blocking formation? I'd say that's pretty much any formation that has a tight end on the line of scrimmage and a running back to block. This is doubles flex Y off close. You'll probably see normal Y off close, very similar formation. These formations with a tight end on the line of scrimmage just allow you to block every blitz and not having to 5 out a bunch of different stuff. This is the doubles flex Y off close is the tight Y off. I've been running a lot of tight Y off lately. That's been my offensive choice. The reason bunch has been good all these years is that you've been able to run a tight end. Say you can block a tight end here and you can block a running back here. So if you're getting blitzed off the edge here and then blitzed off the edge here, you could actually pick that up. That's why bunch has been the meta for like forever. If you weren't aware, like that's why it's been so good. That's why picking a blocking formation is very important because it makes the game a whole lot easier. Looking at this spread doubles flex, this is something I actually ran earlier in the year. I do like spread. I really wish spread was better, but running back blocking is just not good. And look right here, we get blitz, we get a 6-man blitz. We're able to sit down versus man coverage. Throw a big shot to Christian McCaffrey. Same kind of thing. He's sending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think he's sending this guy. He could be sending this guy. And then he's got his user over the middle. So that's 7 dudes right there potentially. We've blocked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think it's 6 on 6. I don't think he sent the 7th. But if we go ahead and snap that. No, he sent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, we picked it up. Silly me with my math. But again, we're able to hit the running back here versus the blitz. Nice, easy gain. Versus spread, you're going to have a lot of trouble versus this. Just picking a formation with good blocking characteristics is going to make the game so much easier on you. Right here, nice little out route, good completion for a 2-point conversion. All right, so moving on to our offensive abilities, I'm going to go ahead and start with the wide receivers. Here we got Brandon Ayuk, one of the most important abilities that I would emphasize. I know a lot of people like Tank. I actually really like Truz. I have not had any issue with fumbling. Obviously, I haven't broken a lot of hit sticks. That's what Tank is so good for. You break a lot of hit sticks. But I haven't been hit stick fumbled with Truz, which is nice. I also have double me. Double me is going to be your way to beat press man, especially if they have bottlenecks. You need a double me on your wide receiver, or else you're going to get absolutely smoked by man coverage. I have been really liking the slot-o-matic, especially because I'm running tight Y off, as I mentioned earlier. Every guy is basically in the slot, so everyone's lighting up on those short slot routes. I don't believe post routes get the slot-o-matic, but like drags and slants will get the slot-o-matic. And then we're also running mid elite and short elite. I think I have some clips later. I've been experimenting with this. I've actually been able to hold on versus zone KOs a relatively decent bit of time. It's not 100%, but it has improved a lot of the stuff. And then I had a free slot here, so I went run off elite, hopefully improve the run game a little bit. And then the next wide receiver we have is DK Metcalf, and he's a little bit bigger. He's able to spin, but the same kind of abilities, right? Truz, I got double me, I got short and mid elite slot, and then instead of that runoff, I got the spin cycle on him. Um, Bigger guy can spin. Again, I'm not really using tank. I know a lot of people like tank. I just think Truz kind of does the job, and I like the route abilities for now. Versus tank. I think I got mid elite, and then I got short in and short out on Jawan. I'm using Jawan as like a personal choice because I'm a Niners fan. I like using that card. Spin cycle, slot-o-matic, double me. That's kind of the main cocktail I'm using for these wide receivers. All right, so moving on to quarterback, I'm using JJ McCarthy. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. He just has a great release, gets good abilities. A lot of these theme team surge cards are some of the best cards in the game. I'm using gift wrap for 1 AP. It's a slot I had. I just like the thought of maybe catching more balls. I'm not sure how important it is. It's not as important as it was last year. Gunslinger, fast release, obviously. Steamroller, if I'm getting out, scrambling with the quarterback, hopefully breaking more runs. Pass lead elite, better passing velocity. This ability right here is dots, which grants you perfect passing accuracy on any throw. Very useful. You can make a lot of crazy throws. I like that. I hate missing throws. And then we have Master Tactician. Obviously, it gets Conductor, Hot Route Master, and Playmaker, which is very nice. And then I got Truz here because, as you guys can probably tell, I really hate turning the ball over. I try and eliminate as much RNG as possible, especially with these ability setups. That's why I do the heavy run stopping stuff. And then right here, I'm just trying not to fumble. That is the setup on my quarterback. So at running back, I got Christian McCaffrey, which is another personal choice. Not the best. Like, he's very good. Like, I use him. I enjoy him. A lot of people would prefer fatter running backs. And, you know, I get it. I understand. I got balance beam on him just because I don't like getting tripped up when I'm trying to kind of wedge my way through holes. I got tireless runner, which I believe helps with stamina after breaking tackles. Human joystick just to have more control over CMC. I got freight train just because it's 0. I don't want to spend 1 on angry runs. If you want to, you could. Angry runs basically allows you to break the first tackle after a catch and a run. This freight train is just a run play. Evasive, juking, spinning. Doesn't have the best. Like, he doesn't have the fat guy spin, but you know, I get the job done with it. And then I got Truz again because I do not want to fumble. Final skill position here is this theme team surge Ted Hendricks, who's actually a really, really good card. They built him like crazy. So I have an O-line ability here in all day. So against, like I showed those 6-man pressures, he's going to hold up against frequent block sheds, which is beautiful. He also gets Vanguard. So when I'm running the ball, usually at a tight Y off, just phenomenal blocker. If they don't have run stopper, he's going to send him to the moon. I got both the mid elite and the short elite, just hanging on to a lot of balls, which is pause, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's very, very good. Slot-o-matic, drags, slants from that tight end spot, beautiful. And then Truz again, because I do not want to fumble. Looking at this O-line setup, so I spoke about the Vanguards, and I'm bringing up this Alan Faneca because he's my only offensive lineman who has Vanguard. I'm cheap. I'm not spending a lot of coins on my O-line. Saving up for rookie premieres and whatnot, but you're going to get guys, a lot of O-linemen are going to have that Vanguard ability. If you have O-linemen who can get Vanguard, if you have the coins to get that, go ahead because you're going to be able to run the heck out of the ball. Obviously, we like secure protector, and this is a generalization for all the offensive linemen. These are all good abilities. I actually have post up on all my offensive linemen to combat Colossus. So I've actually had a lot of success blocking Colossus just by putting post up on all my offensive linemen. I don't know if that's overkill, but it's given me great time in the pocket, and I feel like it's good. So that's why I'm sharing that with you, because it's from my experience. I think it's pretty good. Natural talent right here. Start the game with blocking resistance. Another good offensive line ability. Moving over to this Alex Mack here to kind of cover some more abilities that I like. You only need most of these abilities on one guy. So we have Omniscient right here, which is going to give us the view of the other opponent's user. That's pretty good. Not something you're going to have early Madden next year, early college football next year, but it's nice to have. It's going to help you win more games, knowing where the user is. You're going to know where to attack, where he's not going to be able to get to in the defense and whatnot. Again, natural talent, all day. I think, yeah, those are all repeat abilities from the Alan Faneca. And then on my tackles, obviously, it's going to be a little different. We got this edge protector right here, Joe Thomas. Not really sure how much different it is than secure protector. I know maybe edge.elite does a little more, but yeah, really the only difference is the tackles versus the interior guys. You're going to want edge protector along with all the other stuff. Okay, so moving into some gameplay right here, we're going to roll out. We're going to hit DK Metcalf. We're going to get smoked, but we don't fumble. That's what's important. Right here, again, we're going to throw to Ayuk. We're going to get smoked, and we hang on. I think that's somewhat of the short route ability. Let me replay this for you guys. Just keep an eye on this Ted Hendricks. So right here, let me mark this up. This is him with the Slot-O-Matic lighting up on a drag. So again, Slot-O-Matic's very good, especially if you're running tight like I do. These drags, these slants are going to do a better job of getting open versus man. Right here, he beats his guy for a pretty easy first down right into the end zone for a touchdown, which is super nice. Right here, we're going to go ahead and what are we doing here? Oh, yeah, this is the Jawan Jennings. We absolutely hung on to some. I don't know if this is double me or the mid and elite, but again, like I'm talking about these like route abilities, like they do something. Like there's definitely something about them that allows you to hang on to more balls than you wouldn't otherwise. That's kind of a bailout throw, but I'm just throwing it in there. Like the abilities are pretty cool. And the final reason that you guys don't win games is that you don't stay on schedule. And I am a victim. I'm a perpetrator of this. I don't stay on schedule very often on offense. And what staying on schedule basically means is you don't want to take negative plays. A lot of times early in the down, I like to kind of set up big bombs and try and take big shots. And what ends up happening is I get behind the sticks, I get sacked. So I guess my biggest tip to you guys here is take your short stuff early if it's open. Really pepper them underneath. Right here, I'm hitting these running back streak routes, which are doing a good job. Hitting a drag right here. Just don't get into try and avoid long down situations if you can. Those are probably the #1 reason you lose games. Outside of getting toted on and not being able to stop gigantic running backs, just taking sacks and stuff of that nature is what's going to put you at a disadvantage. I'm going to go ahead and replay this because this is another key tip to staying on schedule, is really identifying what coverage the opponent is in. A lot of times I'll call a play regardless of kind of like if I look at this setup right here, right? There is a defensive back right on top of DK Metcalf, defensive back right on top of Jawan Jennings. This dude's a little more ambiguous. I don't really know what's going on there, but this looks like man coverage on this side. So I basically guess man coverage. I go ahead and I block Ted Hendricks. I put Christian McCaffrey in a wheel, typical man beating route. I got Ayuk on this deep post, typical man beating route. Slant, man beating, and then this stem down corner, also man beating. We go ahead and snap the ball. I'm able to get good protection. I see my guy beats man, and we're able to hit it for a large gain, outrun Sean Taylor right here for a touchdown. Just part of staying on schedule is kind of taking the time to recognize what the defense is doing. Right here, I see he's in dime, so I'm going out there. I'm trying to run the ball with Christian McCaffrey. Why would you want to run the ball versus dime? Well, if we look, 1 dude, 2 dudes, 3 dudes on the line of scrimmage, there's like pretty decent gaps. Like right here, if this guy can pick up the user, you're gonna get a pretty good shot to get a big run here. And that's why I use Run Stopper a lot, because if those are vanguards, you're gonna have a very good shot to pick up a good run. And a lot of times, I'm not always running dime versus the run. I'll go ahead and replay that last part. I'm not always running dime versus the run. A lot of times, I'll get into 3-4 odd, which is kind of a similar setup to dime. But again, just recognizing defensive formations, not taking sacks, staying on schedule. It's all super important. It's gonna make your life so much easier playing Madden. Not, having to complete a 4th and 30 for the game, is going to be beautiful. Run the ball when it's there, and you're going to have a good time. Alrighty, guys, so that's it for the video. I hope you found some cool stuff that you can take in that'll help you win more games, have some more fun. I know this time of the year can be a little weird with the different metas, the giant running backs, all that stuff. So if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you guys like this video, I got some others. If you guys want to check this one out right here, where I broke down how I run the Washington Commanders offense. It's pretty good. Check it out. Without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.